Yay Networks.
For somebody of that age, really, it's, cleansing your skin, applying a moisturizer, and then doing a sunscreen really is all they need. If you want to add an antioxidant, that's fine. Do that in the morning. But that's it. Just don't need anything else.
They just need to get in the shower with a bar of soap and wash in between their toes, behind their ears, and their armpits, and everywhere else there's a crack. That's it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Happily Ever Amber podcast. I am your host, Amber. Okay, on today's episode, I'm really excited because we have Dr. Anthony Youn on, and he is a holistic plastic surgeon. When you're on Instagram or you're on social media, you see all these different surgeries or botox or do this, take these vitamins, get this much sleep. It's can be so overwhelming for me sometimes that I just wanted to go straight to the source. So we have Dr. Anthony Youn on, and he takes everything from a holistic approach, which I love. Let's just start back from the basics, the foundation of life, before we start injecting and taking pills and all this stuff. So let's go talk to him. Welcome. Thank you so much, Dr. Youn, for coming on the podcast. I have literally a laundry list of questions for you. I don't know if I'll get through all of them, but thank you for taking time.
Well, thank you, Amber. I appreciate it.
Where are you located?
So I'm outside of Detroit. I'm in Michigan, although I have lived in LA before, and my entire family lives out there. I'm out there all the time. But I do appreciate you having me on because I think it's a big topic, and I think a lot of people want to know about it. So,
yeah, I mean, just before we hit the record button, something that I had brought up that I think this is really important is that we're really seeing this new trend for beauty, and it's a awesome thing because we're going more towards the natural. And we saw it with Pamela Anderson. I mean, when you look at her photos of when my kids don't even know who she is, who's Pamela Anderson? I showed them who she was, then and now. And everyone, my sister's like, wait, what? That's the same person? I'm like, yeah, that's the same person. She's just taking it all off and being natural. And that's definitely, I think, something that I see trending. And I would love to get your thoughts on what you think.
Yeah, no, I think you're completely right. I mean, there still are the Kardashians and the Jenners where, they really do rely, what appears, and I'm not their doctors, but it appears that they rely on a lot of makeup and plastic surgery and injections and treatments. But there definitely is this trend towards being more natural with it. I think, and also being honest with it. It's for so long, plastic surgery and even overall cosmetic treatments have been such a taboo. And I think it's been great because there have been people coming forward saying that they're doing it. And then there are people coming forward saying, hey, you know what, I used to do it and maybe I'm not going to do it so much anymore. And I'm happy the way I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you even see it with breast augmentation, people taking out their implants and really coming forward talking about the, some health things that they have suffered from and, or whatever it is, which I think is super great for this younger generation to be able to see the difference, because someone having young children, I have 2 young daughters, one who's 14, they see this stuff on TikTok and Instagram. Well, not TikTok, but she doesn't have TikTok, but Instagram. And it's that's not real, right? So you don't want these young, beautiful minds to develop, body dysmorphia or any of these things, which I'm sure you have seen and experienced in your practice.
Yeah, there actually are studies that show that the amount of time girls actually spend on Instagram, it is inversely proportional, directly proportional to how they feel about themselves and their self-esteem. And it's because of all of these filtered images. It's because of the way that I think people try to present themselves, especially on Instagram, where they want to try to present themselves as being glamorous and gorgeous and all of that. And interestingly enough, I find it interesting because you say, oh, my kids are on Instagram, but they're not on TikTok. I actually find TikTok to be better than Instagram in that manner. I've got a teenage son and a teenage daughter, and we actually put them on TikTok first that was their first one. Part of it was that at the time they're like Instagram, only the old people are on that. But I also feel like with TikTok, there are more parental controls on it than, let's say, Snapchat, where freaking Snapchat, anything goes. At least on TikTok, my daughter's got a minor account. She can't DM anybody. We can limit kind of what she sees. So, I mean, each platform has its pluses and minuses, I guess.
Yeah, I hate Snapchat. For kids, that is the worst. And I don't care who hears this. It is, I hate it.
It's how so many of them are interacting nowadays. So both my kids have it, but they have it to basically snap their friends. Now, I tell you, the first time I opened up Snapchat, and I followed a couple of friends of mine who are plastic surgeons, just because this was many years ago, and everybody's talking about Snapchat. So I open it up, and the first thing I see, Amber, is a bare woman's vagina. First image, no. I swear to God. And it was a plastic surgeon who was showing how they were doing labiaplasty surgery. And it was like, I mean, right there, just to show, I mean, I was shocked because they don't allow anything like that on Instagram or on TikTok or on Facebook. But Snapchat, anything goes. And it was like, dang, like this is the first image that I see on it. Like what else is on here that you just don't want your kids to see?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. I have to get my thoughts organized because I love skincare. So my skincare history, being an actor in Hollywood, that's something that we always have to take care of. And I remember when I was on All My Children and I was 17 and I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast and my skin was it just got so bad to the point of where the producers called me in and they were like, this is when they were changing cameras to like the high definition cameras too. I ended up being on Accutane and so this is kind of like my love / obsession for skincare really came in. Yeah. So I want to talk about things that now being a mom, not really having as much time. I know you talk a lot about red light therapy. And anytime I'm on like Instagram and I see people talking about it, I'm like, is this just like they're trying to just sell something? I don't know. Can you kind of educate me and the viewers on red light therapy? Is it good? Why is it good? How do we know it's a good device that we're purchasing?
So red light therapy is good, but I do think it's important to set kind of the stage with all this stuff with skincare. The way I look overall at anti-aging, and it's this idea of autojuvenation that's in my book, is that it's like you're building a house. Okay. And when people say, I get people coming to my office and they're like, hey, I want a facelift. And I look at them and it's like obvious that they don't take care of their skin, that their diet's no good, they don't exercise, all that stuff. The way I look at anti-aging as an overall whole, it's like you're building a house. And like botox and filler and surgery is like the spire at the top of the house. You don't worry about that until you get there, if you get there. So what is the foundation of the house? The foundation of the house is actually your food, is the food that you put in your mouth. And maybe more than anything else, what you eat is going to determine how your skin looks. On top of that, the first level is going to be skincare. The level above that is probably then going to be these anti-aging treatments, non-invasive stuff like red light therapy, which I think is very great. But if all you do is red light therapy and you have a terrible diet and you're not taking care of your skin, you're not considering taking any supplements or anything like that, then you're not going to really do a whole lot for yourself. You're really fighting against the grain. It's like when I get patients who come to see me and they're like, oh, I really want to improve my skin. And I look at them and I'm like, but you're a two pack a day smoker. Well, yeah, I'm not going to quit smoking, but what should I do with my skin? And it's like, first thing, you just got to stop smoking. And so that's how I would overall look at it.
The therapy, you're like, this is the number to the therapist. Come back after like 10 sessions of therapy.
Unfortunately, when a plastic surgeon tells a patient that you need to see a therapist, it usually doesn't go too well. I have said that to patients, but most of the time they get really upset with you because a lot of times when patients, and this is totally as an aside, when we get somebody who comes to see me and I feel, wow, this person really needs to see a therapist, it's usually because they have body dysmorphia, where what they see in the mirror is different than what everybody else sees. In that situation, usually with body dysmorphia, they don't have insight into their problem, meaning that they don't understand that they have it. Mm-hmm. And so for them, they may say, okay, we see a tiny bump on the nose that we don't even look at. For them, that bump is the size of Mount Rushmore, and they don't understand why everybody doesn't see it. And so if you tell them, oh, you should go see a therapist, then it's, or that bump isn't there. It's like telling them, oh, the sky's not blue, it's orange, or it's purple. It doesn't make sense to them. So yeah, definitely as a plastic surgeon, I do find myself in that therapy booth sometimes where I feel like I'm kind of their therapist, but they don't usually take too kindly to saying, yeah, go see a therapist.
Yeah, but you're so raw. And honestly, we need more. Listen, you're in the plastic surgery business, so you can't just tell people to go see a therapist. But I appreciate your honesty, because there are too many people that just take on clients to get them under the knife, and then they end up looking like cat lady, and they feed into their body dysmorphia or help them get to that place where they develop, all of these psychological issues now.
Well, it's definitely, plastic surgery is often a cut first mentality. Not everybody. I think there are a lot of great plastic surgeons out there who really just want what's best for their patients. But one of the things that social media has brought about is doctors who are gaining clout, not for their quality of their results, but because they're being outrageous on social media. And so, there are people out there who are dancing while they're in the operating room to try to, gain a following. They act really extreme. They try to show off their big biceps or their fancy cars and stuff like that as a way to try to demonstrate clout. And a lot of plastic surgeons even buying hundreds of thousands of followers as a way to pretend that they have clout. And then a lot of the lay people just don't see it. They don't realize that, oh, this doctor's got 200,000 followers and they're all fake. But they just look at the 200,000, think, oh, wow, this doctor must be great because this, he or she's got all these followers and all these fake comments and all of that. So it definitely is a buyer beware industry. And that's one of the reasons why, for me, I came up with this idea of holistic plastic surgery. And really what that is it's using plastic surgery as a last resort, but starting with all those things that you can do without surgery. And hopefully, if you do those, you'll find that just maybe you won't need to go under the knife.
If I were to walk in, let's pretend this is a consultation, and I'm like, listen, I want my sunspots to go away. And you looked at me, what is a first approach to these, diet, exercise, fasting?
So I think it's real important, that when you talk about the quality of your skin and how quickly you age, then yes, diet is the number one thing. And so just kind of getting this out there, and we can definitely talk about individual conditions too. But first thing you want to look at, if you say, hey, look, I just want to age more slowly, or I want to have skin like my mom did when she was my age, whatever. First thing you want to do is focus on a good collagen supporting diet. And what I mean by that is that our skin is composed about 70 to 80% of collagen. Collagen is a part of the skin that makes it feel nice and firm and youthful and smooth and wrinkle free. But as we get older, we lose about 1% of the thickness of collagen every year. Women after menopause lose upwards of 2% of the collagen every year. And that's why some women, when they're in their 70s and their 80s, their skin is just tissue paper thin that they scratch it and it tears. So the first thing you want to consider is you want to promote the collagen of your skin by eating foods that will help promote that. And collagen is a protein, so eating sufficient amounts of protein is definitely important. Ideally, healthy sources of protein. So you're looking at grass-fed beef, you're looking at wild-caught fish, pastured pork and chicken. You're looking at beans, nuts, and seeds if you are vegetarian or vegan. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you want to look at, and it really is focusing on why your skin ages, but you want to reduce chronic inflammation and oxidation. These are two processes that occur in our skin that cause us to age prematurely. And these are both contributed to by basically a bad diet and by bad environment around you and your actions. And so chronic inflammation and oxidation, two big processes that are aging to the body. So what contributes to that? It's eating too much sugar. It's eating a lot of ultra processed foods. It's smoking. It's getting too much sun. All those types of quote unquote bad habits contribute really to those two main things, oxidation and chronic inflammation.
For the viewers and myself, explain what oxidation is.
So oxidation is a process where our body basically creates what are called free radicals. And these are basically, it's like waste products from our metabolism. So the fact that you're alive and your body's like an engine, it's like the exhaust coming out of the engine. So these are called free radicals. Free radicals are basically, they damage the DNA of our cells. Okay, they're these waste products that are just damaging to our bodies, but they are neutralized by antioxidants. Antioxidants are the reason why people say you should eat a lot of colorful fruits and vegetables. It's vitamin C is the most prominent antioxidant. That's why people use vitamin C serums on their skin. That's why you take vitamin C tablets and supplements. It's all those antioxidants to fight the free radicals. Free radicals, they damage the body by this process called oxidation. And so you can get free radicals from just the fact that you're alive. You can get it from ultra-processed foods. You can get it from pollution. You can get it from cigarette smoking. You can get it from UV damage from the sun as well. And so fighting that process off using antioxidants, super, super important.
Okay. Remind me later about the vitamin C, because I don't use vitamin C serum on my face. And so I want to talk about that when we get to another segment down the road.
Yes. So, and that's something, vitamin C, whether you take it by mouth or you apply it on your skin, or ideally both, is really, really good overall. And so that's, when you're looking at food, those are just some very basic things. Is you want to eat healthy sources of protein. You want to eat the colorful fruits and vegetables. So healthy sources of protein help promote collagen. Colorful fruits and vegetables fight inflammation, and they fight oxidation. And then you also want to, ideally, inflammation is reduced by healthy fats as well. And so by eating healthy sources of fat like wild-caught fish, like olives, olive oil, avocados, nuts, and seeds, those are also great sources of fats, healthy fats that can help reduce inflammation. And so kind of focusing on those, when you're looking at food kind of from an overall perspective from your skin, those are things that I would start with.
What do you eat?
So I try to eat all of that. The one thing that I haven't mentioned that I think is really important for people to know about are fermented foods. And so it's really important, there's this thing called the microbiome, and it's the trillions of bacteria that line the inner lining of our gut. And what we have realized is that these gut microbes, these bacteria, they actually have a profound impact on our overall health. And we're just really kind of on the surface of learning what they do. And how do you promote healthy gut microbiome is basically you eat fermented foods. Fermented foods basically are foods that have these healthy probiotics or healthy bacteria in them. So when you ingest them, they help to supply your gut with this healthy bacteria. The problem is that the standard American diet is pretty much void of fermented foods. This sterile. The only fermented foods that we eat in our standard American diet really is yogurt, and then maybe sauerkraut if you're like at a ball game having a brat. But that's basically it. You ask, what are my favorite foods? One of my favorite foods is kimchi. My background is Korean, and I grew up eating kimchi at like maybe twice a day. So kimchi is fermented cabbage with hot sauce on it, essentially. And that's a great source of probiotics. Other good sources of probiotics, fermented foods, are miso, tempeh. That's a great source of it. I mentioned the sauerkraut. There's kombucha, which is a real popular drink nowadays. And so trying to get some fermented foods into your diet once or twice a week is definitely beneficial for that gut microbiome.
Yeah, my kids aren't eating any of that stuff.
My kids aren't, other than the yogurt. I think you always have the yogurt, which is a standby. And I'm not overall a huge fan of dairy, but I think that in yogurt form, if that's how we're going to get some probiotics, then by all means, go ahead.
I just introduced my kids to kombucha, and the older one seems to like it a little bit more than the younger, my 10-year-old, but that's that's better than nothing. That's a win.
Yeah, you just have to be careful too, because some of them have a little bit of alcohol in it.
Yeah, I told them, I'm like, yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm like, if your legs go numb, just let me know. I remember the first time.
Start slurring your words, then you'll know.
Yeah. Okay, so food, number one.
Yes. And then the number two thing, I do focus on supplements. I think that supplements can definitely be helpful. Although for me, supplements are something that I really try to limit. I mean, I have friends of mine who are biohackers and they take like freaking 100 supplements a day. And I just don't think the average person, my followers, they're into that. And so in my book, Younger for Life, I have a very simple supplement protocol that I think most people can do. And most of these you can just find at your local health food store. So taking a multivitamin every day because our food is not as nutritious as it used to be. Taking a daily omega-3 fatty acid supplement, basically a fish oil supplement. Taking a daily probiotic, at least 3 billion colony-forming units. Really important, just like I mentioned, that the gut microbiome is so important to your overall health. And there's actually a connection between the health of your gut and the health of your skin. And so by promoting the health of your gut, you're going to help promote healthy skin as well. A antioxidant, ideally like a medley or a combination of different antioxidants I recommend because we want to fight oxidation. And then the fifth one I do recommend every day or most days is a collagen supplement. That's the one that's a little bit controversial. There's some doctors who poo-poo collagen supplements, but I do believe that they can be very helpful for people.
Got it. Okay. I like to take magnesium. Is magnesium helpful in any way for the skin, or is that just to help knock me out at the end of the night?
I don't know that I've seen any studies of magnesium for the skin directly, but I do think, sleep is so important for the skin. And so if it does help you, because if you've got a magnesium deficiency, then by all means, take it. I think people need to realize with magnesium supplements that there are a lot of different kinds out there. Some of them are essentially used just to get your gut moving. And so you don't necessarily want to take those right before you go to bed because you may wake up in the middle of the night having to go to the toilet. But there are others of them that are not quite as reactive and are meant just for sleep. And then there's some people who do things like bath salts with magnesium before going to bed. There are creams and sprays and stuff like that. I think there are a lot of options. But I think, if it helps you sleep because, you've got a magnesium deficiency, then by all means, take it. Because getting a good night of sleep and good regular sleep is great for your skin as well.
Yeah, I mean, it really goes back down to the foundation of living, right? Water, sleep, good diet, exercise, like no stress, which is impossible, but limited stress. Okay, so go ahead. I know you.
I think that a lot of people, what surprises them, because you can say, oh, eat the rainbow of colorful fruits and vegetables. Yeah, I've heard that before. But what they don't realize is that there are direct connections between some of these dietary recommendations and your actual skin, and there are ways that there are actually studies that have looked at things like that. There was a study that looked at vitamin C intake and found it directly correlated to the number of wrinkles that somebody had as they got older. So there are these direct correlations, mom or dad may say, hey, take your vitamins, and you may poo-poo it. But in the end, there are these direct correlations between, these types of nutritional additives and even these activities like getting enough sleep, like de-stressing, like meditation, and the quality of your skin.
Yep. All so true. So we have food, we have supplements. What's the third one on the list?
So now you're getting into skincare. And so I think it's so important with skincare products, once again, you got to start with the diet. But if you do get to that skincare, I think that there are very simple skincare regimens that people can do that I think work well. And the one that I promote in my book is the 2 minutes, 5 years younger skincare routine. So it's very simple. Basically, what we did is we put people on this skincare routine that took literally 2 minutes a day. And then 2 months after doing it, we took their before and after photos. I put them on Instagram and we surveyed the audience of how much younger do they look. And we found they looked an average of about 5 years younger. Now, this skincare routine, yes, if you started, Amber, it's not going to make you look 5 years younger in 2 months because your skin looks really great already. But it's for the quote unquote average person who may not, have been taking great care of their skin. It can definitely do that.
Wow. And I think I've been really trying to encourage my 14-year-old to wash her face every night. My 10-year-old's putting under eye cream on. Yeah. She has better skincare products from her dad's house than I do. I'm like, you don't need this stuff. What are you doing?
So there's this crazy trend for this Gen Alpha, I think is what they call them. The young generation, these
Gen crazy. That's what I'm calling it.
To be doing these skincare routines that they don't need. And, for somebody of that age, really, it's, cleansing your skin, applying a moisturizer, and then doing a sunscreen really is all they need. If you want to add an antioxidant, that's fine. Do that in the morning. But that's it. Like, just don't need anything
They
else,
just need to get in the shower with a bar of soap and wash in between their toes, behind their ears, and their armpits, and everywhere else there's a crack. That's it.
That's a good place, because sometimes they focus on so many other things, yet these basics they don't get. It's surprising. If you're an adult, then basically what you want to do is you start every morning, you got to cleanse your skin. Then you want to apply an antioxidant serum like the vitamin C. And ideally, if you add vitamin E to that, there is a study that showed that they're synergistic. And so vitamin C and E would be ideal. Then you follow that up with a sunscreen, at least SPF 30. And that's really all you have to do in the morning, even as an adult. In the evening, you cleanse your skin. So important. If you only cleanse your skin once a day, you got to do it in the evening, because you got to get rid of that day's worth of dust and dirt and grime and makeup and pollution and all that. And then usually for somebody who is an adult, I do recommend an anti-aging cream like a retinol. If I were to pick one anti-aging cream that most anybody can use, it would be a retinol. Retinol is a derivative of vitamin A, and it helps to smooth fine lines. It helps to thicken the collagen of the skin. It helps to exfoliate the skin. It helps to improve unwanted blemishes as well. And then if you want to apply a moisturizer on top of that, you can, but you don't have to. It really comes down to the quality of your skin, your environment. If you've got real oily skin and you're in a really warm, like let's say you live in Florida in the summer, then you don't have to apply moisturizer after that. It's optional. And really, that's all you have to do. Like, that's the 2 minutes, 5 years younger skincare routine. And then once or twice a week, depending on how sensitive your skin is, you want to exfoliate your skin either with like a gentle scrub, or some people do it like with an alpha hydroxy acid. But really, if that's all you do with your skin, morning cleanse, antioxidant serum, you do a sunscreen, in the evening cleanse, a retinol, moisturizer as desired, and then once or twice a week you exfoliate. That's technically all you have to do. Anything you add on top of that is a bonus, but it's not absolutely necessary.
Great. I love this. So simple. So simple. Next topic. Let's talk about Botox and fillers. So I'm 35. I've had Botox. I've tried a filler. Hated it. What can you tell us about Botox? Like, what would you recommend? When should, if necessary, right? Someone who wants to get Botox for the forehead, the crow's, they're trying to lift. I mean, now you look on Instagram and it's like, if you want to lift your chin, do here or here. I don't know. You just see everything everywhere on these platforms now. So I would love to get your thoughts.
So Botox is a neurotoxin. It's basically one of the most powerful toxins in the world. But if you inject it in the tiniest, most minuscule amount into certain muscles, it can actually prevent the transmission of nerve impulses to that muscle. So it blocks the nerves from stimulating muscles to contract. Now, there are certain wrinkles of our face that are called dynamic wrinkles. And these are wrinkles that are basically caused by muscles. Muscles contract and those wrinkles form. There are three main areas of wrinkles that we treat with Botox. It's the glabella, which are the frown lines between the eyebrows. Mm-hmm. It's the forehead, the horizontal forehead wrinkles caused by elevating the brows, and the crow's feet wrinkles, which radiate from the sides of your eyes. Mm-hmm. And so Botox can be injected into those muscles that create those wrinkles to temporarily cause those muscles to no longer function. They basically relax, and those wrinkles essentially smooth out. It lasts about 3 to 4 months, and then it basically wears off. There's a newer version called Daxify, which appears to last closer to 6 months, but it's also more expensive. And this really is the most popular cosmetic treatment in the history of the world, from what we can see, because it really does work so well. Mm-hmm. So what are the downsides to it? Well, if you don't like the result, because let's say you do the forehead and you look weird afterwards, then you got to wait 3 or 4 months for it to go away.
Or
There's
you're
no
like
antidote
this.
to it. Yeah. So usually what I recommend for people who are just starting Botox and you don't want to look weird afterwards, then just start with the frown lines between the brows. Okay. Because that area, usually if you do it fairly conservatively, you're not really going to change much how you look. It's usually when you get into the forehead that it really can change a person's appearance. So it can take somebody with nice, good-looking brows and make them overly arched if they do it a certain way. Or it can take nice brows and make them completely flat and drop if they overdo the Botox, or anywhere in between. So when I get new patients who've never had Botox before, they're Botox naive patients, and I would usually don't start with the forehead. I usually just start with the frown lines because I feel like that's a safe place to start. They see how it works. They see it, they get a feel for it. And then when they come back next time, we can target areas like the forehead when they feel more comfortable with it. Now, there are other areas of Botox that you can Botox too, and we it seems like every couple months there's a new way that you can use Botox to help somebody. So you can inject Botox on the corners of the mouth to help with a gummy smile, where you smile and you see too much of the gums or more than you want. Then, injecting Botox in the corners of the nose can help to prevent that. Some people inject Botox in the nose area here, the top of the nose, to reduce bunny lines, which are kind of the crinkly lines in the nose when you crinkle your nose. You can inject Botox under each corner of the mouth to help lift the corners of the mouth if you get like a permanent frown. Like, I'm going to probably have this done. I'm doing a bunch of TV appearances, and after that, maybe I might try it so I don't look weird.
Sometimes I have like a natural, well, people call it a resting bitch face, but
I do too.
A natural thing. So I think.
So for you, if you wanted to try, it would be literally like 2 units of Botox right here and right here. And that will target the muscle called the depressor anguli oris. And this is a muscle that pulls the corners of the lips down. And it will weaken that muscle and cause the corners of the mouth to come up a little bit. And that's the simplest way to help reverse a permafrown. Yep. So that's something you can easily try. I'm going to try that at some point. I have treated my patients with it. Most people like it. But I'm going to try it on myself here probably the next month or so once all my interviews are over, just in case I look weird afterwards.
Just do it.
And then you can do there's the chin to help with the what they call the orange peel looking chin. You can inject it into the masseter muscles, which are the thick muscles on the side of the jaw to help reduce the width of the jaw. We inject it into the armpits and the hands and the feet. You can do to help reduce sweating.
I do the armpits.
Muscles. That's here.
The best. The armpits. Oh my gosh. I have hyperhidrosis. Since I was in second grade.
Oh, wow.
The teacher would call my mom and be like, why is Amber's hand sweating so much? It's smearing her pencil writing. I mean, I wake up and I start sweating. The armpits were the best thing that I actually need to get it done again, but I only have to do it twice a year. It's the best.
So yes, but if you want to try to get something that lasts longer, there is a treatment called Miradry. We do it here in my office where it uses microwave energy to actually destroy the sweat glands of the armpits.
Ooh, I'm ready.
And so you can get a result that can last many years from Miradry. We've been doing it for, 10 years in my office or so. And that is a near permanent solution to underarm sweating. You can't do it on the hands or anywhere else. It's just for the armpits, but it definitely works.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I remember when I went to the doctor, because it's my hands and my feet and my armpits. Yeah. And the doctor's like, well, there's 2 solutions. We can go clip some nerve in your hand or there's something in your spine. And my mom looked at the doctor like, get the hell out of here. I'm not touching my daughter's spine for sweating. You could sweat all you want the rest of your life.
So when I went through my residency, I worked with a neurosurgeon for a while. And so that procedure is called a sympathectomy, where they will go into the area around your collarbone, and they can snip certain nerves that basically provide that type of innervation to your hands. But that's an invasive operation. I don't think it's done much anymore. In addition to Botox, which I think Botox may be the most effective, but there's some type of treatment called iontophoresis, where you can put your hands in water that has these electrodes type stuff in it. I've never done it. I actually have the device in my house. I've never used it. But
send it out here.
That can help with long-term sweating. But there's also actually cloths now. There's one called Qbrexza, which a dermatologist can prescribe you, where these are cloths that you put on your hands. There's another one that just got FDA approved, I think, that basically are wipes for your hands to reduce sweating that can last, I think, several weeks after just doing these cloths. And so instead of getting all these injections into your hand, there definitely are other options now. I think Botox is great, but if you want to avoid all those needle pokes, then Miradry for the armpits, and then using maybe the Qbrexza cloths for the hands, at least looking into it. I've never prescribed it before, not being a dermatologist, me being a plastic surgeon, but that is something that may be worth looking into, because then you don't have to keep getting all these injections.
Yeah, it's not fun. Doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
This has been so fun. I am so excited to go out and get to start this new lifetime. 2 minutes a day, though. That's all you
That's all
need.
you have to do. Yeah, you got to start with the basics. Yeah, start with the basics. Like I said, I recommend taking a collagen supplement, all the other basic supplements we talked about, and then getting on good. If all you do is just start with a good healthy diet, like what I talked about, you take those supplements, the basic ones, and add the collagen to it, and then you did that basic skincare routine, and then hey, bonus if you add red light therapy to it, you're ahead of most people.
Yeah.
And anything else on top of that is just gravy.
Yep. Awesome. And I see that book back there, Younger for Life.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell
So
us
that's
about
my
it.
new book. Yeah, it's all about how you can turn back the clock naturally using the process of autojuvenation. Autojuvenation basically is what I've described to you. It's five ways to naturally focus on anti-aging. It's what you eat, when you eat. We didn't talk about intermittent fasting, but that also can be very good for your skin.
I love
So it's
intermittent
what
fasting.
you eat, when you eat, nutritional supplements, skincare, and non-invasive treatments. And by combining those 5 things, I think almost anybody can look 5 to 10 years younger within just a matter of months. And it really, we actually have a 21-day jumpstart that we put people on that's from the book, and found that in 21 days, by making these simple changes, people's energy levels soared, they lost unwanted pounds, and their skin looks better than it has in years. And so it's something that we've actually tested on now upwards of 10,000 people.
Oh, wow. That's good data.
Yeah, so it's been great. I mean, it's so simple things that most people can do using autojuvenation. It's your body's own internal regenerative abilities. You just have to unlock it by doing these things.
I love it. This is amazing. Thank you so much. For everyone, you guys need to go buy his book. Not if you want to go buy the book, go buy the book. Where can they find it?
So it's all over. It's at Target stores. It's on Amazon. And if you do go to my website, autojuvenation.com, we do have a bunch of free gifts. If you do get the book, go to the Autojuvenation and then sign up, and we'll get you an extra recipe book. We get you a quick start guide to skincare, even a extra book on actual surgery and how to do surgery holistically if you're thinking of going that route.
Ooh, I love that. Okay. And then for social media, because you guys have to follow him. He is hilarious and amazing. And by the way, like if you're going to be following interesting people, you are the one to follow. So will you give everyone your social handles?
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm Tony Youn, MD, TonyYoun, MD, and everywhere else, I'm Dr. Youn. Instagram won't let me change my name for some reason, but
I'm having the same problem. We have to talk about that off this recording. You have no idea.
I don't have the answers for you, though. That's a problem. They haven't changed it yet, but I haven't tried lately, so we'll see.
We could start a campaign. Anyways, thank you so much, Dr. Youn.
Thank you.
It was so great speaking with you and learning all these amazing things. And I just really appreciate you taking this new approach forward of holistic plastic surgery. I love it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
See, I told you that was going to be interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like I need a checklist. We have some red light therapy. We have certain vitamins. I need to go find a retinol. Retinol is the biggest thing that I didn't know that I need in my daily routine. Also, washing your face at night is the most important thing you could do versus the morning. It's also something that I definitely going to be sharing with my girls. Please let me know something that really stood out to you during this episode. Again, thank you so much for being here, supporting and listening. And if there's any guests that you guys want on, any ideas you have, please feel free to DM me. Thank you again for always supporting and being here with me to find your own happily ever after.
Yay Networks.